on to our trade fours and trade aways. So we're going to give you 2 trade fours, each of us, and 2 trade aways, okay?
Yeah, this might be a good time. We're in the middle of the season. You might need a nudge, and you might need just a little bit of help. And if someone you can just see the red flags, but they have the talent, maybe it's time to make something happen. Maybe it's time to trade that person. But Pat, go ahead with your first recommendation. This is your trade for, so this is who you want.
I want the Chargers offense. I want the receivers. You got to think a lot of people don't have tape on Herbert, and he's slanging it, right? And with Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, they're all going to eat. So I want, if you got a chance to take a low flyer, maybe a little trade on one of them, I think Keenan Allen's always the most overlooked receiver. People don't realize what he does week in, week out. So if somebody's, taking for granted, essentially, I got this, okay? Do not look back at all. My second one is RAHEEM MOSTERT. Couple reasons. First of all, his value is never going to be lower than right now. But with that being said, if you make a trade before the week's end, there's reports saying he might not even go to the IR now. He might just be out 1 to 2 weeks. And now I'm not going to say the next 5 weeks he's going to be the most valuable person. But let's go back in the past. Let's take a time travel back to the end of last year. What did that man do? Dominant, right? And you got to keep thinking that they know how talented he is. They gave him his money. And the last 3 games, crucial part of this playoffs, great schedule. So I'm advising you right now, while you have an opportunity, to go get him. Throw somebody, if they're 1-5 and they're desperate, hey, look, this dude's going to be a little crutch for at least 4 or 5 weeks. You need these crucial wins. Tell them what you got to. Tell them what they got to hear. Some people need a little slapping, this and this, but tell them what they need to hear. Okay? Eric, who are your 2 trade fours?
We might need some examples of. Might need to hear some examples of your banter. Maybe not today, but just things you'll say to people. That's the gold stuff. That's we don't have to talk about it right now. But say
reverse psychology. Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead.
So my number one person that I think is a little bit, maybe not. Their value isn't too low right now. It's not too high. But after that horrible showing against the Steelers, I think I'd go for Kareem Hunt right now. So that might have been his worst game of the season. He's a little bit banged up. No Nick Chubb, at least for another couple of months. I'm not counting on Chubb to step right back in. The worst video maybe I've ever seen is him messing up his other knee in college. Maybe don't look that up, but it's his other knee, trust me. Hunt also gets the 2 New York teams weeks 15 and 16. So if you think you're maybe set up and you're just a couple players away from possibly competing in the playoffs, that's one of the guys that could really win you a championship. Weeks 15, 16. New York, back to back. That's about as good as it gets right now. We know how defenses are right now, barring a lot of injuries in certain areas to defenses. We can see it now, as we're midway through the year. Other guy maybe that is going a little bit overlooked right now is Adam Thielen. There's so much buzz for Justin Jefferson having the most yards since 1970 by a rookie. He has, but I think that Thielen has less boom or bust weeks. I look maybe to trade maybe a running back 3, maybe see if you can match up another receiver with RB3 to maybe go after Thielen right now. I think the buzz is low. You're not really buying low, but I think he's worth looking into with one of his owners. Pat, do you want to go ahead and speak about who you would trade away, who you're not feeling right now?
Well, that's a receiver group. I'm trading away the Dallas Cowgirls. And, I don't know what else to tell you. They looked awful. And I think they're going to start getting their own head about, you got to think they're losing offensive linemen. Now they're trying to feed Zeke. Now they're trying to do too much, and I don't think that it's going to go well for anybody. I do, however, think that Dalton Schultz will continue to be a solid because, he's a safety valve. Like, he's going to get the dump-offs and whatnot. But overall, I'm good. I don't want none of that. They're great talents. CeeDee Lamb, respect to all, but I'm good. My next, who I already traded away. I traded away weeks ago. Deuces, didn't like it. Joe Mixon. I think it's just overall the line's not good. He's gonna have a couple glimpses here and there, and that's because of opportunities. But overall, I'm good on Joe Mixon. That's why I got rid of the man. It's not his fault. He's not a bad player. Let me make that clear. It's just you see how he's built a quick pass. They're not even thinking about this man. They don't give it like the line is just not gonna work. And for how much he's getting these opportunities, you got to think how many people are getting hurt, and he's already a little banged up here and there. So I'm good on that. I'd advise you to get rid of the boy. Get what you can. Obviously, he's a running back, so he's gonna have value. Running backs always have value, but get rid of him.
Okay. Yeah, and we didn't even talk about this before, but I had him on my list as one of mine. I have him. Maybe we both got him. He slipped a little bit in the draft, but I guess he's got a foot sprain. I watched a fantasy doctor, guy specializes in injuries, kind of talking about scenarios going on right now on YouTube. It's Fantasy Doctors. I'll put a link in the description to give him some credit. But he basically is talking about his foot sprain is actually much worse than an ankle sprain, and he thinks he went back in the game because it hadn't started to swell up, but now with it being days later, he's not practicing. It's Wednesday. If he still doesn't practice the rest of the week, it could mean that his foot swelled up, and it could be like a Cam Newton situation where they call it a season. So that's pretty freaking scary. So, but I mean that's not an absolute thing. It is very possible though. So that's that makes me nervous having him. I mean, doesn't that sound bad? But otherwise, I think he really hasn't been the focal point in the offense. They have these three receivers that are so efficient. They're moving the ball. He's almost an afterthought, so I have him on my list too. My other player is Devin Singletary. They have the worst running back schedule you'll ever see. The last 4 weeks of the season, I think starting week 13, they have at San Francisco, versus Pittsburgh, at Denver, at New England, and they do not run the ball well. So what is he going to be doing in those games? It just does not look great. Get rid of him because they don't even run the ball well. The only person to run the ball well is Josh Allen. So that's definitely my guy. But if you've got him, you're in a really bad spot, and you got to hope.
You got to think Zach. They like Zach Moss too, and they're still gonna be playing that game, going back and forth. And
right.
The only thing worse than a running back committee is a running back committee that doesn't run the ball. Safe travels, everybody. We'll see you next episode. Thank you.